Hello and welcome to EC Electronics. In today's video, we'll be doing the quick revision of random process from the communication system subject. So we'll be discussing what is random process, what is its importance in communication system. We'll be discussing about the properties of random process, the statistical properties of random process, and also we'll be seeing the classification of random process based on the nature of the signal and also whether the random process is stationary or not. Okay, so the random process, why they have been studied under the communication system subject is because when we are sending a signal in a communication system or receiving a signal, these signals are carrying informations along with some noises. So they are having an unpredictable nature. So they are called a random signal. Okay, so when these random signals are collectively taken, they are called random process. So that's why we are studying random process under the communication system subject. Okay, so we'll be discussing about in detail in the random process, that is about the random process and its various features and characteristics in this video. And all the things I have mentioned is in an exam point of view. Okay, so let's see what is random process, its properties and also its classification. So this video is a quick revision of the topic random process, its statistical properties and its classification. Okay, so in this video, we'll be discussing about what is random process, what is its importance in communication systems, and its statistical properties, and also the classification of random process. Now, we are studying random process in communication system subject, right? What is the importance of random process and what is actually random process? So, we all know that communication systems involve sending and receiving of signals. And these signals are completely unpredictable in nature because the signals, when they are traveling, they bear information and some noises will be also getting added to these signals. And due to this, there will be an unpredictable nature of these signals which are either sent or received. So these signals are random signals or unpredictable signals. And the collective, that is the collective of these random signals together is called a random process. So in simple words, random process you can imagine of the process of either sending an information or receiving an information when talking in terms of communication system. Okay, so why we are actually studying random system topic in communication system is to analyze the performance of the communication systems, various senders, sending part or receiving part. In order to analyze its performance, we are studying random process. Okay, so that was a brief intro about the importance of random process in communication systems. So I've written it here. So the random process, I've written the definition here. A random process is a collection of time functions or signals corresponding to various outcomes of a random experiment. So as I said earlier, a signal, that is a signal which is sent or received, is having an unpredictable nature, and you can think of the sending process as a random experiment. So the outcomes of these random experiment will be some signals and its collection or the sum together of these signals we call as a random process. Okay, so I hope it is clear. So the random process is actually a sum or a collection of random signals. And you can represent a random process using X, T, S. Okay, where T is a time, S is a sample point of the random experiment. So there will be a sample set. From that you are taking a sample point. At that sample point at the given time, the random process is X, T of S. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now, this random process, we have understood that it is having an unpredictable nature, but there should be some factors which can be used to analyze this random process property. Right, in order to analyze the random process, there should be some parameters or some properties. And that properties are called the statistical properties of random process, which are mean, variance, cumulative distribution function CDF and probability density function PDF, then autocorrelation and cross correlation. So these statistical properties are used for defining the nature of the random process. Okay, so we define this unpredictable thing or unpredictable process using these statistical properties, which are mean, variance, CDF, PDF, autocorrelation, and cross correlation. These are the most important ones. Okay. So now we are going to see in brief about what is mean, what is variance, what is CDF, what is PDF, autocorrelation, and cross correlation in terms of a random process. Okay. So the first statistical property that we are going to discuss is mean. So mean is a very familiar name to all. Mean means it is the expected value of a random process. So the mean function of a random process is the expected value of that random process, or we say it as expectation. Mu x of t, mu is used for denoting mean. It is the expected value. So E of x of t, where x of t is the random process. And in terms of integral, you can write it as minus infinity to infinity x fx of xt dx. So that is the mean. In simple terms, what will be the expected outcome or the value for your random process? That is called mean. Next one is, so the second statistical property is variance. It is represented as variance of x of t, var x of t equal to E of x of t minus mu square. So the variance of a random variable is the expected value of the squared deviation from the mean of x. So in terms of expectation, you can write it like E of x square minus Ex whole square will be the variance of your random process x of t. So it is the expected value of the squared deviation from the mean. Okay, so that is variance. Now, the next property is CDF, or cumulative distribution function. So the cumulative distribution function of a real valued random variable x of t is given by fx of x of t equal to p of x of t less than or equal to x. Now this p is nothing but probability. So the probability that the random variable x of t or the random process x of t takes a value less than or equal to x. So that probability is called the cumulative distribution function. So CDF is represented as fx of x of t equal to the probability that your random process will take a value less than or equal to x. Okay. Now in terms of a large number of random processes or a joint CDF, if you write, you can write it like this: f of x1, x2 up to xn at time periods t1, t2 up to tn is equal to the probability of x of t less than x1, or you can write it as x of t less than or equal to, okay, less than or equal to x1, x of t less than or equal to x2, x of t less than or equal to x3 up to x of t less than or equal to xn. So this probability that your given random process is less than x1, x2, x3 up to xn. That is called the cumulative distribution function. Okay, so that is another property. So when you are doing the problems of these type of equations, only you will get much familiarized with these terms. Okay. Next one is the probability density function, or PDF. PDF is represented using small f of xt, and that is given as the nth differential of your CDF, that is f of x1, x2, x3 up to xn, t1, t2 up to tn. So x is the sample points and t is the time. Okay, for the sample point x1, the time period or the time is t1. For x2, t2, likewise. So these are the sample points, these are the times. Okay, by dou t1, dou t2 up to dou tn. So this is the probability density function. Okay, so these are the first 4 statistical properties of your random process. The next property that we are going to see is autocorrelation. So the autocorrelation is the most important statistical property of a random process. The autocorrelation is actually the relation of a function or a random process with its shifted version. So in general, if you say an autocorrelation function, That is a relation of a function with its shifted version. So if we are going to take two random processes and we are going to define the autocorrelation between these two, we represent it using Rxx, T1 and T2. So there is one random process and its shifted version. So Rxx of T1, T2 equal to E of, that is expectation of the products of these two random processes. Okay, so that is the autocorrelation function or autocorrelation of the two random processes x1 of t and x2 of t. Now, let's see the properties of autocorrelation for a stationary process. We'll be seeing what is a stationary process in detail nextly, but just know that if the process, that is the random process, is a stationary process, then the properties of the autocorrelation function is given like this. So Rx of tau is the autocorrelation function for a stationary process x of t. So we'll discuss about stationary, but just know that this random process is a stationary process. So the Rx of tau will be an even function if the process is stationary. And if the autocorrelation function is even, then you can write Rx of tau equal to Rx of minus tau. Okay, so this is representing an even autocorrelation function for a stationary process. Next property, the maximum absolute value of autocorrelation function is at tau equal to 0. That is, Rx of tau will be less than or equal to Rx of 0 for all values of tau. There is a maximum absolute value for your autocorrelation function will be at origin or at 0. Okay, so that is the next property. The third property is that for some t0, consider that Rx of t0 equal to Rx of 0. That is, autocorrelation function at t0 is equal to the value at origin or at 0. Then you can write Rx of kt0 equal to Rx of 0 for all integer values of k. Okay, so these are the three properties of autocorrelation function for a stationary random process. Okay, so we have discussed that the autocorrelation function of a random process you can write as expectation of the product of two random processes. Okay, now if the process is a stationary process, then the autocorrelation function is like this, is having these properties, these three properties. It will be even, the maximum absolute value is at 0, and if any t0 have Rx of t0 equal to Rx of 0, then Rx of k t0 equal to Rx of 0 for all integer values of k. Now just know that autocorrelation is actually defining a relation between a process and its shifted version. So we are going to take the random process as x of t1 and its shifted version as x of t2. Then the autocorrelation function will be defined like this. Now we are going to see about what is cross correlation. So here we are defining the relation between a function and its shifted version. Now we are going to discuss about cross correlation, which is actually defining the property or the relation between two different random processes. So Rx y of t1 t2, where x is one random process, y is another random process. X is at t1 and y is at t2. So it will be the expectation of x of t1 into y of t2. X of t1 and y of t2 are two different random processes. I hope it is clear. So this is a function with its shifted version. This is between two different random processes, and you can write Rxy of t1 t2 equal to Ryx of t2 t1. Now why these equations I've included this, because when you're doing numerical questions, you will be facing a lot of questions in which you have to use these relations. So that's why I've included all these relations. Okay, so when you're doing the numerical type of question, or when you answer the question answers or MCQ from this area, you will get familiarized with how you are actually going to apply these equations, where you are going to apply. Only then you will get familiarized. Okay, but just know that just know a briefing about all these things. What is autocorrelation, what is cross correlation, what is variance, what is mean, what is CDF, what is PDF. All these things you should be knowing what is a brief. Okay. So till now we have discussed about the random process, what is actually a random process and what are its statistical properties. All those things we have discussed. Now we are going to see the classification of random process. We can have two broad classification. One is based on the nature of the signal and second is based on whether the random process is stationary or non-stationary. Now, based on the nature of signal, you can classify it as 4: continuous time, continuous amplitude signal, continuous time, discrete amplitude signal, discrete time, discrete amplitude signal, discrete time, continuous amplitude signal, and discrete time, discrete amplitude signal. Now, why I am talking about the nature of signal and the signal? Because in the beginning, we have discussed that a random process is nothing but a collection of random signals, which we are actually sending or receiving, right, in a communication system. So, based on the nature of those random signals, you can have these 4 classification. The signal can be continuous in time and continuous in amplitude. It can be continuous in time but discrete in amplitude, discrete in time and continuous in amplitude, both discrete in time and discrete in amplitude. So these are the 4 classifications based on the nature of the signal. Next is whether the random process is stationary or not. So a process is said to be stationary whose statistical property are independent of the choice of time of origin. Okay, so if it is independent of time or the choice of origin, then it is called a stationary process. Otherwise, if it is depending on the time or the choice of time of origin, that is, if you are considering t equal to 0 as origin, or if you are considering t equal to 12 or 13, or likewise, if you are going to shift the origin of the signal, consider that initially this was your signal, this was your origin. Now, later on, you are going to shift the signal and this you are going to take as origin. Okay, now this shifting in origin, whether it is affecting the signal or the random process or not, that is actually determining whether the process is stationary or not. Okay, I'll tell it once again. A process whose statistical property are independent of the choice of time of origin is called a stationary process. And if it is depending on the choice of time of origin or on the time, generally we can say whether it is depending on time or not. If it is depending on time, then it is non-stationary. Otherwise, it is stationary. Again, you can classify the stationary random processes as various classifications that we are going to see nextly. So the classifications are strict stationary, wide sense stationary, cyclostationary, joint stationary, and ergodic process. So we are going to see all those classifications of a stationary random process nextly. So now we are going to see the classification of stationary process. The first classification is called strict sense stationary. Now a process that is a stationary process is said to be strict sense stationary if the statistics of the process is invariant of the time shift. Statistics means the statistical properties like mean, variance, autocorrelation, cross correlation, CDF, PDF. All these are invariant of the time shift. So in an equation form, you can represent a strict sense stationary process like this. F of x of t, x of t1, x of t2 up to x of tn equal to x of t1 plus tau, t2 plus tau up to tn plus tau. So this tau or tau is the time shift. So this initial one and the shifted one are equal. Okay, so this is called so this f is nothing but the CDF. Okay, this cumulative distribution function. So this, since it is having lots of random process, it is a joint CDF, joint cumulative distribution function. It is invariant of the time shift. Even if you shift by tau, there is no variation in the CDF. Okay, so that is the representation. And also the other properties are, invariant of the time shift, and hence that is called a strict stationary process. Okay, next one is wide sense stationary. It will be denoted as WSS. Okay, so a wide sense stationary process, if a process is said to be WSS or wide sense stationary, then the mean function and the autocorrelation function are invariant of time shift. So if the mean function and the autocorrelation function are invariant of time shift, then it is called a WSS or wide sense stationary. So in order to specify, or in order to explain these things, we have discussed about the properties, that is the statistical properties in the beginning. Okay. So the mean function and autocorrelation function are invariant of time shift. Here E of x of t equal to constant. What is E of x of t? Expectation. That is called the mean. So mean is a constant. Irrespective of any time shifting, mean is a constant. Similarly, R xx of t1 t2 is a autocorrelation. Depends only on t1 minus t2 tau. That is, it depends only on the time difference. It doesn't depend on the timing. So consider that initially the times t1 and t2 were 4 and 8, right? So t1 minus t2 is 4. Now we are going to shift the time to t1 equal to 12 and t2 is equal to 16, right? Then again t1 minus t2 is equal to 4 again, right? Or t2 minus t1 equal to 4. Final minus initial, so it will be 4. I'm just taking the modulus, I mean the magnitude, not the sign. Okay, the difference is 4. Here also the difference is 4. So the difference, only the autocorrelation function is depending. The times has actually changed. Initially it was 4. Now it is t1 equal to 12. But it doesn't depend on the times. It depends only on the time difference. Okay. Now the autocorrelation function depends only on the difference in time, not on the individual change or the time shifting. It doesn't get affected. Okay. So that is called a wide sense stationary process. Next is cyclostationary. Cyclostationary means if the mean and autocorrelation are periodic with period t may be any value. If they are periodic in nature, then it is called cyclostationary process. Okay, so these are the three classifications. Next classification is joint stationary and ergodic process. The next classification of stationary process is joint stationary process. Here we are going to take two different random process, x of ti and y of tj. And if both of them are invariant of location or shift of origin, then they are called jointly stationary or joint stationary. Okay. Next is the most important one, which is an ergodic random process. Okay, so first let us consider the characteristics. Okay, so consider that x of t is a wide sense stationary random process. Okay, so if x of t is a wide sense stationary random process and the mean or the expectation is mu of x and the autocorrelation is rx of tau. So we have defined what is mu x and rx of tau earlier in this video, and these expectations, so this is again, this is also an expectation, this is also the expectation of a signal and product with its shifted version, right? We have defined the equation for rx of tau and mu of x or mu x. So these two, this mean and autocorrelation, we call it as ensemble averages. Okay, that is the ensemble averages of this wide sense stationary random process x of t. Now let us take the timing averages or time averages mu x bar, and that is defined as limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t integral minus t to t x of t dt. Okay, so this is the timed average of your wide sense stationary process x of t. And similarly, the autocorrelation is, so mu x bar is the timed average of x of t, and the autocorrelation in the timing as timing parameter, in timing parameter, if you define, it is Rx of tau, limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t minus t to t x of t into x of t plus tau dt, right? So these are the timed averages and this is the ensemble averages, right? So a process is said to be ergodic if mu x equal to mu x bar and Rx of tau equal to Rx tau bar. Okay, so if the timed averages is equal to the ensemble averages, then they are said to be ergodic, or the process is said to be an ergodic process. So these are the 5 classifications. So this was a 5th one. 5 classification of a stationary process. So a random process is said to be stationary if it is actually invariant of the time shift, which can again classified based on various properties as strict sense stationary, then wide sense stationary, cyclostationary, joint stationary, and finally ergodic process. Okay, so ergodicity means we are actually going to compare the ensemble average with the timed average. If both are equal, then we say that the process is a ergodic process. Okay, so these are the points which I've included in this video. In this video, we have done a brief about random process. So in this video, we have discussed about what is a random process, what is its importance in communication system. So as I said in the beginning, random process is nothing but a collective of random signals. And we all know that in communication systems, the signals which are being sent and received all are random signals only. Okay, so random process is very important. We have discussed about the properties of the random process and also the classification of random process. There are 2 broad classifications based on the nature of signal and based on the whether the process is stationary or not. Again, the stationary processes has its sub classification which we have also discussed. So I really hope that you found the video useful. If yes, please do give it a thumbs up and also share it with your friends. We will be covering communication system subject in this week. All important topics we'll be doing as quick revision videos. Okay, and also we'll be doing numerical questions. So if you want me to do the numerical questions and also if you want me to continue this subject, please do mention in the comment section. And if you want more videos, please do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and keep on watching.